We are live once again. Welcome everybody. You introduce us, Sam. I always get to introduce us.
Oh,
Why
I
don't
did
you?
it last week, but all right, I'll do it again. Hi, everybody. My name is Sam Shukavage, and with me is my father, David Shukavage, the president and CEO of Carolina Retirement Planners, or the president and founder of Carolina Retirement Planners. And with us,
Chief
as always,
dishwasher.
yeah, everything you can imagine he's done here at Carolina Retirement
But
Planners.
now I have a crew that does all the dishwashing. Those were the days, but.
And with us, as always, is behind the curtain, the incomparable Ms. Amy Dresky, our director of client fun.
Hello,
Uh,
hello, hello,
Hello,
hello.
Amy. She makes all of the magic happen behind the curtain, making the Zoom and the Facebook and the interwebs all come together in the technological brilliance to bring this to you here today.
If it wasn't for that, you'd all be going out on your porch and watching for our smoke signals.
Yes. And as always, we cannot see you. So if you are here and you would like to say hi, we always love to say hi. So you can just type it in the chat and let us know you are here. And as such, this is a happy half hour. We designed it to be at the end of your Thursday. So we like to pop open a beverage of our choosing. So if you're drinking something fun, say hi, let us know what you are cooling off with here at the end of your day. I am drinking a Wolf Pup Session IPA. It is absolutely adorable. It's got a little wolf going, "Ow."
Oh, I love your sound effects. That's so great.
It's what I hear every time I
love
look at
it.
it, because it's like
I
this
love it.
adorable little wolf puppy, and it's just
I'm drinking college. This is all that was in the fridge. It's Jack Daniel's watermelon punch. I mean, yeah, tastes like hangover in college. I don't
watermelon punch. Oh my goodness.
I'm just too much of a purist. To me, beer shouldn't have little cute pups on it, and you shouldn't have whatever marmalade inside your whiskey. It's kind of like,
I
I
think
don't know. It's just,
it says it's wolf pup. It's got a happy pup on it, but I do think that it is following the rules of the Weinheitsgebot of what year is that? 1630, 16. I don't know if anyone knows the year of Weinheitsgebot went into law. Type it into the chat.
well, there was the Wall Street Journal used to have some couple that did columns for wine, and they did different comparisons. And they came to the conclusion, at least in the wine world, that if the wine bottle had an animal on it, it didn't taste very good. They didn't put good wine in bottles with animals. They were, anyway, just for what it's worth. I, of course, am drinking my normal herbal tea because I just found that safer than drinking something stronger when I got to talk. So, but trust me, I'll make up for it later.
Absolutely. We know that you will. And here today we've got Teresa, who is wonderful and joins us every week, Amy's mom, Teresa. And we have Anne, here. Hey, Anne.
Hey,
And
Ann,
then we
South
have
Carolina, Ann.
yes, we've got our very own Mary here. Hey, happy half hour to you as well. We have Kay here. Hey, Kay, and Bill. Welcome, Bill. And we have Brenda. Hey, Brenda, our very own Brenda. And Gail. Hey, Gail. And Bruce. Hey, Bruce. And, Dan and Barb, y'all are always on the move. I think that you are always tuning in from someplace different every week. This week they're here from Michigan, cooling off with the rum punch. Man, that sounds even better than my wolf pup.
They adhere to my general principle: never provide a stationary target.
Yes. And we've got Paula here. Hey, Paula and Skip, and Phil and Jane. Hey, y'all. Ooh, and Anne is drinking. Apparently, Bud Light has a new beer called the Next Beer, which is very light and crisp and refreshing. Dan just visited a 1570 era brewery, which is very cool.
Yeah, I think, did we get Phil and Jane too?
I did.
Okay, I must have missed that. I see.
1870. I was like 1570. Man, y'all must have been like really far. I was thinking back to my honeymoon. We went to Brussels and we did a brewery tour, and we went to some really old breweries, and they talked. We didn't get to go to we did a bar tour, but they talked about some of the old abbeys, and we got to like learn about them, and it was very interesting, and learn about how the beer that we get from from Belgium is not the same as the beer that you would have from Belgium if you're drinking it in Belgium. It's very interesting. We've also got Kim here. Hey, Kim. My mom, Sandy, is here. And we also have Wanda and Tom. So welcome, everybody.
I love that the moms join. That's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, we got all the moms here today.
Good.
But you have to talk about what day it is. You
Yes,
can't forget that.
I know. So, and I'm teeing you up, Amy, because I know you've got something special right now. We always talk about what day it is today. And Amy, what day is it today? What national day is it?
And my mouth is turning red from this drink already. It's garbage. I have Donald Duck on because it's National Donald Duck Day. What? And my dogs are going crazy. But yeah, so that was what I asked everybody, was what was your favorite cartoon character, like growing up or as a kid? And I just happened to have a Donald Duck dress because, grandson, and when he was younger, wearing all these things. But yeah, he's taking a good old nap. So yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what are you guys? What were your favorite cartoons? Come on. What? All right, whatever. Fine. Yeah.
Well,
I liked Underdog. I like Rocky.
It's
and
kind of
Bullwinkle.
between Wile E. Coyote and Popeye.
Popeye is great. I love Popeye. I mean, all of them. All those classics are just great.
But Wile E. Coyote was such a class act. Just it was always fun to watch.
It's hilarious. I mean, the Roadrunner, hilarious.
I texted my mom to ask her if she knew what my favorite cartoon was, and she did not respond, but she did log on here today. So I guess I can't hold it against her too much.
Kate says she's an Eeyore fan. Eeyore is great. Yeah. Oh, my mom said Chili Willy. Yeah. Chili Willy. I know that she likes Chili Willy.
Yeah. I can't really remember. I liked watching all the cartoons. I can't really remember if there's like one that I thought was my favorite.
Kristen is a big fan of Jerry. Is that like Tom and Jerry? Jerry? I mean, that little mouse, that guy.
Wow, Dad, you're
Well, I think I got to get the show on the road here.
Your art skills have improved.
Yeah, can I just take a minute to say that this looks a lot different than the normal art that you're putting out for us. I've been working. What's going on here?
I've been working steadily to improve my artistry and handwriting and everything.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. Don't you think I did this?
I mean,
did that art book pay off? Is that what that is? I mean, what?
No. Most of you have, if you haven't, I don't know, a few weeks ago, we introduced Jessica. Jessica has joined us as our director of First Impressions, and she did some work on some presentations we did for Warren Buffett sayings a few weeks ago, and she, I usually do these myself. I said, Jessica, why don't you try this? And boy, you can see the difference. So this is today's our little happy half hour, and
she did a great job. Yeah,
so she's impacting people's first impressions all in all different aspects.
That's right. So, we're actually going to focus in on what I like to call the 4 phases of life. And really what we're centering on is the last phase, the one, often people say, well, how can you help us? What do you do for us? And it's the things that in this transition into and traveling through the 4th phase of life. And I thought I'd like to talk about that, but I want to bring us through the whole path, because life is sort of a path. And I like to model it, if you will, in 4 phases. And they're so important, and the transition between them is important. It's kind of nice to start at the beginning and look at it. And in the first phase, I like to call school. It's the period of time between when you're born and when you get out of high school or college or graduate school. If you think about this time, for most of it, our parents take care of us. And the purpose of this is to get us some basic skills, and also arguably to get us a reasonable distance past puberty before we go off and get launched into the next phase, which is work. Because most folks at some point, they go out and they get a job, and they may pack up their car with their measly earthly possessions and drive to some foreign city and start work. And you're worrying about things like checkbooks and credit cards, and basically, how do I live in this, how do I find all the furniture I need and things like that. And you enter this next phase of life where you're maturing into this adult life. Sometimes you look back at your home, and all of a sudden you see, like, your mom, she is dismantling your childhood bedroom and converting it into a sewing room. Things change.
Wait. Yeah, that definitely happened to us. I distinctly recall a giant loom going into my sister's room.
Yeah, it is now my wife's weaving room. So it happened with us, So it's kind of interesting. You go into this phase, and somewhere in that phase, you may stumble upon some gal or some guy that you just can't live without, and you go off and you get married. You move on and get married and start another phase of life. And you think about this phase, this is one where you kind of have to learn to live with another person. You got to put up with their habits. They have to put up with your habits. You both have to figure what you're going to spend your money on and how much you're going to spend. There's all these financial and social things that could lead to stresses as you go through this phase. And hopefully, if you experience some of those stresses, you figured it out, got over, and maybe you got some help. Hopefully that help was like a marriage counselor and not a matrimonial lawyer, if you know what I mean. So you go into this phase and kind of decide what to do. Somewhere in that phase, you may actually go and decide to have children, and you have children. That's another big kind of milestone. All of a sudden, these little kids, they depend on you. And you go off and do things like, you buy a life insurance policy on yourself. So if you die, your little kids are going to be okay. Things like that. And, during this phase, financially, income was pretty easy. Assuming you were employed, you pretty much got a paycheck every week or month, or and that provided you the income you needed. And when you got that paycheck, most folks said, hey, before the IRS gets their grubby hands on it, I'm going to take some of it and I'm going to put it over here in my IRA or my 401k or my 403b. I'm going to put it away as much as I can for my retirement. I need this nest egg when I do retire. And then the IRS is going to take their share, and the rest of it's going to come to you each year, each month. And you got to decide again what to spend it on. Now that you got kids around, you're probably spending it on things like, the family van, a bigger house, braces,
Shoes, don't they grow out of shoes like crazy.
shoes like crazy. Eventually these kids grow up and they come and pop into their part of the life. And now you're left with sort of an empty nest. And at that point, most people are trying to put more and more into here to grow this IRA, this 401k for their retirement. And then finally, you will go ahead and retire. You're going to, go into this, you're going to stop working, go into this final phase of life. Now, there's some big changes there. One of the biggest changes is the paycheck goes away. You've now been laid off. And here's the interesting thing about retirement. People are living longer and longer. It would not be unusual for you to retire at 60 or 65 and live to 90 or 95. You could work for 30 years and retire for 30 years. This time goes further and further. You got to think, well, how am I going to be sure I have enough money to make it through this whole period? Now, when you do retire, you have some regular money. For instance, most people, virtually everybody, has some Social Security. But even then, you got to think, well, do I take it at 62? Or do I wait as long as I can till I'm 70? Or should one of us take it early and one of us take it later? Or one of us take it early and the other collect half of theirs and then take theirs later? There's a lot of strategies you can use to maximize the amount of Social Security money you have to spend and make that last longer and help you more in these retirement years. Some of you may be lucky enough to have a pension. There's fewer and fewer, but a lot of us probably on this call have a pension. And then the question is, well, do I take it as a lump sum? Or if I take it as a pension, they send me that sheet and there's like 6 different choices, 100%, 75, 50%, pop-ups, all kinds of things. Which one should I take? And it's another decision you want to be sure you make right to get the most as you go through retirement. So more and more, we're beginning to realize that income is important. Then we move down another step. We move to investments. Here's the interesting thing. Back here, when you were working and putting money away, you were mostly interested in accumulating. You wanted the pot to grow. When you were in your working years, what did ROI stand for?
Return on investment.
Return on investment. That's how we all think of it, return on investment. And in this period of time, things went up and down. 2008, you might have looked and said, oh my gosh, 40% of my money has gone away, but it's okay. I don't have to retire for 10 or 12 years. It'll come back, and it did. When you get to retirement and 40% of your money goes away and you need to take money out of it to live, it's a whole different world. And all of a sudden, ROI has a different meaning. What does it mean when you're retired?
Reliability of income.
Reliability of income. So you need to rearrange your investment strategies for someone who is in the distribution phase versus the accumulations. A lot of tricks and strategies and things you can do to be sure you got enough to last as long as you do. And boy, markets these days, it's more important than ever. Then we come to taxes. Now, here's the thing. Many people, probably most people, have been not paying tax on their savings all these years. They're putting it in their IRA and 401k, and now they get to take that out to live on. But guess what? Now they have to pay the taxes. And you know, that tax money comes up and goes on top of any money from your Social Security and pension. You're probably paying your highest tax bracket is the rate at which you're taxing this money that comes out. And you face a new set of tax challenges. Now, the good news is when you were working, taxing was pretty simple. You got a paycheck, you paid tax on it. When you retire and you go through this transition, it's the first time you have to be able to choose which tax bucket you want to take money from each year for your income. Just as a reminder, the three tax brackets are money like in the stock market that's not in an IRA. It's taxed now. When it gives you dividends and all, it's taxed. There's the money in your IRA or 401k. You can call that the tax later money. I'll tax it when I take it out. And then there's everyone's favorite, the tax-free bucket. Most of that is Roth IRAs. So you have a choice to pick what bucket you have. Now, you also, particularly in your early retirement years, have the ability to rearrange which buckets the money is in. In fact, most people often have most of their money in the IRA bucket, and it can make sense to try to move it to the tax-free bucket. So later, when I'm in higher tax brackets, either because taxes have gone up or one of my spouses have died and now we're finally single, I have more flexibility how to spend more and live more. In fact, you think about retirement, if you do it right, you may want to get to spend more money than you're spending now because you have a plan and a strategy to let you do that. Or spend the money up front in your go-go years so when you slow down later, you don't need as much, but you still know you won't run out. So this can have arranging the taxes can have a big impact. Many cases as bigger than trying to rearrange your investments. You got to do taxes right if you're going to get it right. Then we come finally to the last one, legacy. Because somewhere you go off this board into the final phase, which I haven't put here, and you die and maybe you mess up. And when you die, there's some money left. And it's going to go to someone, or maybe you wanted money left, but you probably wanted to go back to your kids. Maybe by that time, it's your grandkids, and you want to arrange your estate plan, your wills, your trust, and things like that to maximize what they can get and minimize what goes to the IRS and to the government. You may have some charities you want to leave money through. Well, it's important that you give the right money from your buckets to the right person to minimize taxes as it goes along. And there's some finesse and some planning strategies that need to be done there. And so, this is kind of the fun time of our life. We've left all this behind, and boy, we're gonna likely, many will live a long time and have a lot of opportunities to do things. You want to do it right. You want to get all this part right. That's why, when I look at us, that's where we help people. We help people managing the complexities, because I'll tell you, you only retire once. There's no do-overs. You got to get this right. It's important to really do it right. So that's my little explanation on the 4 phases of life. Hopefully this was useful, and you can see the challenges you're facing, and some of the other talks we talked about individually how you tackle some of these, but sometimes it's nice to look at the big picture.
It was very insightful, I found.
Yeah, folks, let us know what you think, how that, this is the first time I've done this on Happy Half Hour. I've only done this, there's a version of it on our website, but I've never really done it in any of the presentations and all. So I thought this was a nice perspective, a nice way to look at it. So.
I have some special guests here that would like to say hi. Can they come in and say hi?
Sure.
Here, come say hi. This is my grandson, Declan, and this is his best friend, Tay. We're getting ready to go on vacation, so
Hey,
they can pick
guys.
me up and say hi. Hi. All right, you guys, you want to go? They're going to go eat, but I told them that they can come say hi real quick. So
Oh,
they'd
good.
like to pop in
I know
and say
you're gonna
hi.
be heading up right after this to go to.
Yes, yes, we're going south. Yeah, but they always love when they're here. Declan likes to come and say hi. So thank you for letting them pop in. So yeah, kids
Absolutely.
love that stuff.
Okay. Well, let's see.
So
One or
next
two
week, right?
announcements before we do the pardon?
Yeah. I said next
Couple
week, right?
announcements before we do the drawing. Next week, we're actually going to have Dick Horgan on. I'm going to be up in the mountains where the reception and the internet is not always good. We were going to do answering questions, but Dick is available. He had promised us a second presentation. Those of you who have watched Attorney Dick Horgan, he's very, time spent with him is great. He really answers some questions and brings some things up. So if you have questions for Dick on wills and trusts and things like that, email them to us. We'll queue him up with those as well. That will be a good one, as they always are, to join. And then the weekend after that, I think we're going to do digital
estate planning.
Yes, digital
Yeah,
estate
This
planning.
one is going to be
Ooh.
really interesting. When we saw a really compelling presentation when we went to our Ed Slot training, gosh, we've been doing a few trainings recently, trying to get really smart for y'all. But one of the things that we learned about was some of digital estate planning. And I'm really excited to bring this to you because it's something that I was even unaware of. It kind of opened my eyes to a whole world that we need to be worried about. Not that we need more to be worried about, but new things that we need to be planning for.
We've all built
you were
up.
telling me stuff. I was like, holy moly.
We've built on online accounts and phones and all this stuff filled with, just think of the memories that are in your phone with photos. If you want to make sure someone gets them when you're gone, Sam will be presenting. I looked at this, I said, I've never heard of this. They brought in a speaker that focused on it. It was like worth every minute. So I think you'll all enjoy, and tell your friends to come to that one, because it's stuff that I don't think many people have seen. And there's a lot of neat stuff out there no one tells us about. So be there for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have time for a drum roll.
Wine.
Oh.
Drum roll.
Shake my table. Are we ready for the wine?
Yeah.
Okay, so each week we raffle off, we give away 2 bottles of wine delivered directly to your door from Fermental Bottle Shop. And to get your name in my jar, you either have to, if you are a member of Facebook, you just click that you are coming to the event each week. Now, each week there's a new little event and you have to click each week, yes, I'm attending. But if you do that, you'll get in here. And if you share that event with a friend, you'll get an additional slip in here. And if you are on our email list, each week we will send out a little blurb telling you, a little video telling you what we're about to be doing with a blurb under it. And if you respond to that, we will get you an additional entry into here. And if you share that email with a friend, you have to tell us if you do that. But if you share that email with a friend, we'll get you in here another entry for the wine drawing as well. So there's lots of ways to win wine. Don't be afraid to enter. We love to give away wine.
Yes, so many ways. Send us,
And-
just enter.
And so, yeah, you could be in here 4+ times. So our winner this week of 2 bottles of wine delivered directly to their door is Pat and Chip H.
Yay.
So congratulations, Pat and
Congratulations.
Chip. You are our wine winners this week. And for everybody else, please continue to enter. We love to give away wine. And I noticed putting the names in here that I had a lot of people who hadn't won wine yet. And please continue to enter. I really want to draw your name. So please do.
We're getting close to 2 years worth. What number is this, Amy?
Oh my goodness.
I think we're 98.
97. Next week will be 98. Yes. Yeah.
97. Next year's 98 will be in 4 more. We'll be up to 2 full years.
I know, it's crazy. I know, I
we've
see everybody and I was
enjoyed
like, oh, just keep entering. I just want everybody.
And just so you know, the reruns are all on our website under CarolinaRetirementPlanners.com events. There's happy half hour. They're all there to watch on YouTube.
We've got lots of great content on our website.
A lot of good learning.
Yeah.
So,
all righty. Well, no Q&A with David, but Q&A with Dick. That's awesome next week. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I'll join everyone from vacation. I'll have my little sun hat on. So it'll be a good
you're
one.
probably all tired of hearing from me anyway. Next week will be Dick, and then Sam will be leading the charge on the week after that. So
I'm excited. Yeah.
well, that's good.
Good. Thank you guys. Oh yeah. I stopped drinking this. It's garbage. Well, don't.
I don't like to drink alcoholic drinks that turn my mouth color. So
Yeah, no. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh no.
I spilled on my clothes.
I'll cheers and I'll take one more little sip to be like, no. So yeah. But,
okay.
Yes,
well,
thank you
to
guys.
everyone, cheers. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week and the weeks to come.
Yes.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Have fun.